This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Katie Wolf, and we're going to talk about the Thunder Bay International Film Festival. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And, you know, we were just talking about this is the 8th annual, and when it first started out, you didn't know what to expect, and you were traveling all over the state, you know, getting films from other sanctuaries and trying to get people to come here. Now it's like you have too many people that want to come here. You have to kind of hold them back. You can't do that many films practically in one year.
It is. That's the part this year that's so exciting. So this is our 8th year, and we have more filmmakers who want to come to the whole film festival than ever. And many of the filmmakers have come here, and their films could have been on the ocean or other topics, and they fell in love with Thunder Bay, so they came back and created films in Lake Huron. So I was mentioning to you, we have 14 films this year that are about the Thunder Bay and the Great Lakes, which is pretty cool. And they're great films, and they, you know, they go from more recreational all the way to some pretty serious topics. When
I was just kind of perusing some of the films, I was amazed at some are about deep water, and some are about ecology, and some is about beauty, and they run the gambit of different things about the lakes and rivers and waters. And
some amazing, I think there's 2 films about young female surfers who are carrying on either a family tradition, or one is championing, you know, protecting the oceans. And so it's interesting to see just over the time period, this will be my 5th film festival, seeing how even in caring for our planet, you know, you've got young leadership coming up that's, you know, taking on that challenge.
And speaking of young leadership, you are out in the schools as we speak, and you have a great student film festival lined up.
Right. So last week we reached over 1,000 students. We go on the road. We do an on-road with the film festival for the public, but the week before we do an on-the-road for students. And so we're in Alcona schools, Presque County schools, and Alpena County schools. And it's really great because those students get to have that kind of personal session geared toward them. But also new this year is we're opening up the entire film festival on either at Alcona or Rogers City, the sessions there, and then during the day on Saturday and Sunday, any student can come and see the films for free.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. Now Friday night's a big night too.
It is. That's our gala. So that's our, you know, that's our highest priced event. That's a $30 event, but it is a, you know, we have a big spread of wonderful food. Hungry Hippie is our caterer this year, so it'll be really delicious. And then we have beer and wine, and we'll have a special program recognizing our sponsors. And then, of course, great films. So one of the films that's playing Friday night is called A Call to Baby Beluga. And it's a very endearing film about a young beluga whale, a baby girl whale that washes up, and a team of scientists are able to take care of it, and it has a positive outcome. I won't tell you the ending, but it's an uplifting story.
Great. And these beautiful posters are all over town. So they list all your sponsors, they tell about times for films, they give information on where to call and all those good things. So look for these posters and support this film festival, because some of these filmmakers will go on to bigger and better things, and you can say, I knew them when.
Absolutely. And the tickets are on sale now. The Thunder Passes, which, you know, give you access to everything, those sell out. So if you want that special rate, you can attend everything that we offer, the special events, the gala and everything with a Thunder Pass. But those usually sell out pretty quickly. So if you want a Thunder Pass, you want to call now.
And it's January 22nd through the 26th. And now will you have events in Rogers City again too?
We will. We'll start out on the 22nd in Rogers City, and then the next night we go to Harrisville at the Alcona County Library, and then on Sunday we're going to be showing another set of films on at the Rogers City Theater as well. Ooh. So we have, you know, several opportunities if you live on the outskirts or you want to, you know, stay closer to home.
All right, now what about meeting any of these filmmakers? Will that be a possibility?
Oh, absolutely. So this year we're going to have filmmakers. any filmmaker who's coming will be there with their film, so after their film shows, they will talk to the audience and you'll be able to ask them questions. And as I mentioned, we have more filmmakers than we have ever had.
Isn't it amazing?
So it should be exciting. And we don't want to forget our student competition on Saturday, because that is probably the most popular event we have. And I know we have a lot. I don't know how many this year, but last year we had 49 student films, so that's a big deal. They're short and amazing and inspiring.
Now, you said you think this is the best lineup ever. You probably told me that last year, too. I'm not certain, but...
it really is. I think it, well, I love, you know, the coral reefs and the whales and the sharks and the dolphins, and so there's a lot of wildlife, you know, aquatic life this year. But then there's also some that are just really about outdoor adventurous and very inspiring stories. There's one film about a young man who was a diver and went blind, so it's about him learning how to dive in darkness. Wow. Another where they're using plastic, microplastics that wash up on the beach to make prosthetics for people. So there's a lot of really interesting use of technology and inspiring stories.
And rain or shine, snow or hail or whatever, we're hosting this event. So come on down, don't be afraid.
Absolutely.
Come on down, find a good place to park, get seated, and enjoy some wonderful films right in your own backyard.
Yeah. And it really is a community experience to be able to
Yes.
enjoy these films together.
And once again, the dates are January 22nd through the 26th, and a complete schedule is probably on the Facebook page.
Yes, just thunderbayfriends.org.
Okay.
You can get the schedule and read up about all the films and buy your tickets.
Okay, thank you so much for being here, and I'll look forward to hearing all the wonderful success of this event. Anything other going on at the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary?
I just can't imagine any place that you'd rather be than at the film festival this time of year, because it really is a very special opportunity.
And make sure to check out the Sanctuary store.
Yeah. And our sponsors.
Oh, yes. You have some wonderful sponsors. There's too many to list, but please thank the sponsors who make this wonderful event possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be right back with some information on Art in the Loft following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Nancy, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I know that Art in the Loft had a phenomenal year last year. Give me some highlights of that year.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We just went over this with our board of directors over this past weekend, really highlighting what did we do in 2019, and we all walked away with the feeling of this was a banner year for Art in the Loft. You know, probably the number one thing that we were able to accomplish was to rebuild the mural and install it, and we celebrated that with our annual Official Palooza event, where we had hundreds of community members come down and help celebrate that rebuild. So that was a huge undertaking for us to get that up, and where the community can re-celebrate it now and take pictures with it all the time.
And you always see someone out there getting a picture taken.
Even in the wintertime.
Yes,
I mean, we might get more pictures in the wintertime, actually, just because with the snow on it and all that stuff. But then we had, you know, with our programming, we did amazing things with our programming this year, really expanding ourselves outside of even the boundaries of the loft. It was the first year we ever had a scholarship program, and that was through the generosity of our community members at our annual fundraiser, where we were able to raise over $8,000, with all that money going right back into programming for those that either can't afford it, or specialty programs like Boys and Girls Club, or a community mental health adult program for those with special needs. And we were just able to really reach out to hundreds of more people than we'd ever have done before. Just through our,
Right, and you do such a variety of things for, you know, young and old and everyone, and you do cooking, and you do, you know, different mediums of art, you do fundraisers, you do just events up there to show off your wonderful gallery and all the great things, and you lend yourself to the community in such a great way.
Well, we were great. We had a couple things going for us. We have an amazing staff.
Yes.
Amazing staff. They're very talented. Our board of directors is extremely motivated to push our mission in the community, get people hands-on with art. But then the second thing is we have a beautiful space, as you mentioned. I mean, we're so lucky to be in the center building, the historic space that's up there.
Looking out
the
that
view,
window.
I mean, I get off the elevator every day, and that's my view. Like, people are like, this is what you see every day? Yeah. I know. Got to do it. So. But it's, so we're just very lucky and fortunate to be able to do what we do in that space. And you mentioned, reaching out to even more. 2019, since we're recapping that a little bit, was our first year we did a full year of programming for our community's youngest artists. And that was through a program called Art Pop. where we did 26 classes, over 300 toddlers came up and did art.
It's amazing.
18 months to 4 years old.
It's amazing.
So that was incredible to get. Just the energy on those days is just fantastic. So
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. And you know, the artists that get to start their careers there and show their wares
Exactly.
and sell things,
Exactly.
and it's just such a wonderful variety from paintings to photographs to jewelry to pottery. I mean, it's so many different mediums.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, this year we had over 35 artists in each of our major shows, Winter View and Summer View. The great thing about that, too, is we are sort of a storefront for them with,
Yes.
you know, majority of that funds going, or revenue going right back into the artist's pocket. So they actually it has an economic impact to it as
Right.
well, where they're able to make some money off what they do.
Yes,
So,
and that's good.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you're a champion at collaborations in the community, and you have a whole new collaboration coming up this year.
we do. You know, it's called Art Wave, first of all.
Okay.
And so we're taking, right, what could this be with? And maybe the prior guest has something to do with
could
this.
be.
But we're taking what we do at Art in the Loft and what Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary does at their space, and we're combining the efforts this year. And so it's a true partnership. We like to capitalize the ART in partnership, where we have over 6 events planned throughout the entirety of the year. We start one up in March, where it's a combination of what is their mission and making people aware of what the sanctuary does and brings focus to the history of the area, the shipwrecks, but also what do we do through the arts, through culinary arts, and just being able to bring people up to do those things. So the partnership is amazing. We're going to have classes, culinary classes. Imagine this, okay? What would the courses be served on one of the boats back in the day? So that's going to be one of our classes, where people come up and actually do the cuisine. What was cooked on.
What was that, salt?
Yeah, right. Well, this is actually we're going to do. It's a German cuisine because it was a German staff on the boat. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yes.
And Stephanie over there is going to be really involved with that one. We're also going to be doing a rooftop painting class where we're going to be taking our staff and our expertise over to their space where we get to do a corkscrew canvas outside right on top of their roof.
That's the nicest place.
Which is so nice.
Yes.
And then we're going to do a class where we get people out on the boat. And we're going to go out into the bay and learn how to use their phone through iPhone photography and take pictures out on the boat. Which is gonna be,
my.
so, I mean, there's multiple things. So artintheloft.org, see all the partnership things. But that's going to be a really exciting brand new branch of what we're doing this year. So.
And you know, you still have all the regular things.
Oh gosh, we have all the regular things, all of our classes, all of our programming, Ready, Set, Create, Young Artist Exhibit in April, Reach program. We have our scholarship program back again this year, so people can learn about that and how they can take a class if, for whatever means, they can't afford it. We have that available to them. To private events, to more art exhibits. It's going to be a full year, and I know I'll be back here to talk about all of those things in detail, but it's just going to be, we look forward to 2020 even more than we did 2019.
I know I'm coming to an event, I believe, next week with Michigan Works.
Michigan Works will be up there. Yep, you got it. So that'll be
fun.
next year, or next week, I mean. And
another good collaboration in the community.
Exactly. And we're going to be hosting something for Wolverine State Credit Union as well, and you know, and really just trying to get those sponsorships coming in too, and getting people
those
involved.
are important.
So very important.
And volunteers are important.
Volunteers are huge. I mean, we couldn't, you know, just doing the programs I've talked about, we couldn't do those without those volunteers coming in. So.
No, so if you have a talent, or if you don't have a talent, you know, give you a call. And what are your
want 'em
hours, Justin, so people can come and peruse all the beautiful artwork there?
You got it. We're in our winter hours right now, so it's Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And just feel free to come on upstairs, look around, grab your lunch, sit at a table.
Yep. You can even order downstairs, have it delivered upstairs if you got a group of friends, and it's a great space to do that.
It is.
Yep.
All right, and then if anyone's interested in more information, what's the best way to find it out?
All right, give us a call, 356-4877, or artintheloft.org. You can actually get approved for a scholarship, sign up for a class, see all of our artists that are on exhibit, all through our website. So.
And if you have a particular talent that you would like to share, give you a call.
Give us a call.
Like one of those culinary things would be great.
You got it, yes.
I see pictures on Facebook during the holidays and all those events. It looks like they have
cookies
so
and
much
cakes
fun.
and all that stuff. You got it, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations to you and your staff for that community spirit and all the wonderful things that you do, and you know, welcoming the community to your wonderful space.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Nancy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, I'm president of Alpena Community College, and pleased to have as our guest this morning Nick Breggy, Director of Facilities at ACC. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, Don.
Nick, you and I have worked for quite some time on a project at the college called Healthy Futures Start Here. It's the Van Leer Hall renovation project. We jumped over a final milestone this week.
Yeah, it was a long track, kind of just getting to the starting line now. So we got our DTMB state approval to move forward with contracts to begin construction. So that was a big relief when we got that approval. That allows us to start securing contracts with bidders. We went out for bid in late November, got our bids back early December, and a good portion of the bids came back within budget. So we were ready to move forward with those bids. But it took an approval process with the state to allow us to move forward. But those contracts are now being issued, and we should start to see some construction activity over there within the next week or two.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Just for folks who are unaware, DTMB stands for what?
The Department of Treasury Management and Budget.
Very good. And their role in this is because about 40% roughly of the project cost is being funded by the state.
True. Yeah. So they have a financial interest in this and in making sure that, and then there's a process too. So they have a process set up that we have to follow in order for us to get that match. And it's very strict. There's not a lot of flexibility in that process. So we were fortunate in that we were able to develop a plan to maintain our budget and move forward in spite of a couple of areas that came back high in the bidding process. We had really two areas that we had low participation from bidders. That was masonry and windows. So those two areas represent a fair portion of the project, and we only had one bidder in each of those categories. And you know, without competition in the bidding process and only having two firms from out of town really bidding on it, we think we can do better if we get some more participation. And also we went back and did some value engineering in those two areas to the plan, to the design, and looked at making some smart cuts to save us some money without affecting the functionality of the building or the energy envelope of the building, or without affecting the main focus, which is the nursing program that we're building the space for on the entire east wing. So those drawings, those new changes are due in the next couple of weeks, which will allow us to go back out for masonry and window bids.
Wonderful, and that is a very accurate summary of where we are and where we've come from. I think folks may see as they drive around town, it is a very bustling construction economy. There are a lot of projects ongoing, and there are a number of large ones in the hopper. This is a good thing, but it creates a lot of demand for construction trades. And when there's a limited number of trade availability and a high demand, the cost goes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've seen that. It seems that as we go through the process of redesigning to get within budget, you know, that target seems to move a little further away because those firms are less available and their cost goes up because of it. So.
Indeed. Well, you've done great work. You and Don Denemy and Tom Bennett at Spence Brothers, they're our construction managers. And you're right, the DTMB framework is pretty inflexible, and there's two components to it. There's the money side, which you've been approved for, and then there's the scope, the defined, I guess, as the footprint or the purpose. Both of those are pretty locked in. So that leaves, left us with a pretty narrow needle to thread here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to make some cutbacks in the budget, but where we made the cutbacks to get back in budget are things that we can add in later phases of the construction. So we're carrying about an 8% contingency right now on the project, and that contingency is kind of a cushion because it's a renovation and because you may run into issues. You have to make sure that you're covered for those issues. If things go smoothly and we don't need all of that money in contingency, we can add in some of those things that we cut out. So that was really the process we went through to get ourselves back into budget. We're looking at those items that are wants, that we want to have for the project, but won't affect the program if we can't get them, but they can always be added in later if the money's available.
Yes, and that was a very thoughtful, not tedious exactly, but exacting process that you went through to make that assessment, and very well done. We had the pleasure of a visit from Julie from the Alpena News, and you two walked through the shell of the east wing of Van Laer Hall. What's it look like right now in the middle of January?
It's pretty empty and cold. We went through our abatement program in October of last year, of 2019, and so all the ceilings and all the floors and everything were taken out. It's empty in there, and it's just waiting to be reconstructed. So I'm happy to get started here in the next week or two.
Me too. I've done that with you and by myself, walked through that empty shell, and there's a lot of history in that space. I feel good about upgrading it and retaining it. Also, as you look out toward the water, it is just a spectacular piece of property.
It is, and our new additions out of the back of the center of the building, which will have a community and student space, is a really remarkable view across Lake Besser, as well as the addition going on the east end. There's a nice view of the 9th Avenue Dam right there, and that's sort of a conference space, a debriefing area. And so both of those spaces really have prime pieces of property, and we're able to utilize it better, I think, with this new design.
Wonderful. Nick, thank you for everything you've done to get us to this point. And we're looking forward to moving ahead. Thank you folks who have supported us on this project, and thank you also for watching Talk of the Town, and we'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.